I just want to give you a quick walkthrough of how to set up the Concrete Canoe course. Sometimes it's a little easier to hear somebody walk you through it rather than having to just read it on paper. At its most basic level, the one thing you got to keep in the back of your head is that this is 90 meters wide and this is 100 meters long, so slightly different dimensions. That's why the measuring rope that I included with the kit has a float at 90 meters and another float at 100 meters. The entire rope is 100 meters long, and the reason one end has a black cord is because that's the end that all the measurements are laid out from. So that should always be either attached to this buoy or this buoy to make these dimensions and these dimensions work out correctly. So the first thing you want to do is set this buoy here. On the instructions, this buoy is labeled number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Because that's the order I would recommend setting them up. Just attach this rope, it's got a clip on it, to this buoy here. And if you want to make your life easier, I would recommend having somebody unroll this on shore and then just throw it out to you. The whole thing should float. It's just one less thing you got to try and contend with out on the boat, and then they throw this end out to you over here. So attach it to there, string it in this direction, get it fairly straight, but don't reef on it too hard, otherwise you're going to end up dragging this buoy out of place. So set this buoy, and you've set these two. Now go back along the rope, and anytime there's a yellow piece of electrical tape, put down the numbered buoy at that location. And each of these pieces of tape has a writing on it that says lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, and so on. So it's pretty straightforward. After you get that done, unattach this float from here and take the 100-meter end of it down here and get it about 90 degrees with this rope, and then set another buoy at that location. Then you want to come down here, grab this float that says begin on it, bring it up here, clip it to that, and then take this 90-meter float over to here, and just you're going to temporarily set this one out because you need to double check that everything's kind of squared up. So put it about where you think the 90 meters is and it looks straight to here. But take the 100-meter float and attach it to that, and then take the begin end from here back down to this point. And that way you're checking that this is actually 100 meters. And you may find you need to bring this buoy either down a little or up a little, but that way everything's pretty well squared off. Anyway, once you've checked that, make sure the 90-meter float's on there, put the other end down here, and then go back along the yellow electrical tape spots and put the appropriate buoys in there. Now, on the official rules, there's no buoy showing up right here, but you need a temporary buoy just as an anchor point so that you can set up these ones in here, set up the line between this buoy and something else so you can set up those slalom ones. Just use one of the long distance buoys. You're just putting it out there temporarily, and then once you've set up the slalom course, you can move that out where it belongs out in here. So anyway, after you set up these buoys in through here, take the rope, connect it to this buoy and that buoy, and then you'll find there's 3 pieces of purple electrical tape. Those correspond to those buoys. And then in general, what you're going to be doing is taking the rope from there and moving it over to this buoy and this buoy. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you need to have one end kind of disconnected and just floating in the water, because if you try and just shift both of them over, this is 5 meters and you're going to end up dragging something out of whack when you do that. So it's got a float on it, it'll sit on the water. Just disconnect this one first, let it just kind of lay there. Come down here, disconnect this end, put it over there, then come back up here and grab this wherever it is and put it out on the long distance buoy. Set those guys, and now your whole course in through here is set up. Now, the instructions they have with the national stuff make the overall endurance course look really complicated because they have this complex geometric shape that's impossible to measure. Just try and make a big giant box in through here. You already know this is 100 meters, this is 100 meters, this is 90 meters. If you put 155 meters on each of these sides, you've got your 400 meters that you need out here. So if you've got a shore on this side or a shore on this side, have somebody take like a measuring wheel or, you know, a 100-foot tape measure and just roughly measure out whatever, I think it's like 500 and some odd feet, whatever 155 meters would be on one of these sides. So then you put another buoy over here, the companion buoy at the same spot on this side, and you can pretty much line up this to get that point correct. Check where your person is on the shore, and you've set that one. Back check where this buoy and your person on the shore is, you've got that one, and then you line it up with this, and you've got your distance course set up pretty easily. If you got any questions, give me a call or shoot me an email. I'd be glad to help you out. Thanks.